Agenda approval. Anybody need to amend the agenda? Any changes? Ryan, anything to add or change to the agenda? Okay.
For approval?
We have a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Privilege of the floor. Nobody signed up for the privilege of the floor. I would like to ask if anybody wants to speak.
Just a request that everybody use the microphones, please.
Yeah. Sir, go ahead. Real quick, state your name and your address.
Name is Mark Elias, 595 Morgan Drive.
Name is Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Just like to get some input on the condition of Morgan Drive itself. I know I've spoken with Al and some other people, and they tell me there's a water line coming through, but I've been hearing this for a while now. And I just wondered if you have a schedule
For the water project?
for the project,
Okay.
getting the potholes repaired. It's just Morgan Drive falling apart.
Well, what we'll do is, when we go to the department head concerns, I'll ask our engineer about the water line project,
Okay.
and then our highway superintendent will address Morgan Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? And that'll be right after anybody else speaks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Steve,
Yeah.
could I interrupt?
Sure.
The date for our meeting tonight, Tom?
Yeah. Oh, 2017?
Yeah, we should make a
April
change.
23rd, 2018. We don't want to go back.
Amend the agenda as stated. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to department heads. Chief?
Just so the board's aware, last week we had a roundtable discussion at the Niagara Wheatfield High School. It actually went very well with the students concerning all of the things that are happening in our atmosphere today. Also, so the board's aware, I know some of the board members are aware, not this weekend, but the weekend before, we had an accident with one of the police cars, one of the officers did. It was one of the SUV utility trucks that ended up being totaled. The officer was miraculously okay. That's something that we're still doing. I should have something by the midweek probably for our department investigation.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finances later. Deputy Supervisor Conrad, anything? I tell you what, let's go to Dave Train. Morgan Drive.
We'll address Morgan Farms first. Well, right now, if they're going to put a sewer line in, or a water line in, there's no use in me paying the road.
And I understand that. I'm just wondering why it's taking so long.
So I don't know, I'm not with that department, we'll catch the engineers on that. Okay, the potholes have been patched once with Coltal. Coltal is a temporary patch, it comes out. The plant here isn't even making hot patch yet because of the temperature. Today's the first nice day we've had of the year. So they won't start making hot patch until probably this week, the end of this week. So Lockport's making it. By the time I get it here from Lockport, it's cold and I don't have hot box. So the other towns right now are using their hot boxes. So as soon as I get that, we're going to start. We're probably going to start on Fletcher Road, that area there, and start working our way down. It's not something we're avoiding.
But
So
I understand that avoiding.
I mean,
Any of the roads are
it's only the
avoided.
first nice day, I still got plows on my trucks. I mean, I can't get it the first day, get everything done. We are out, we're doing brush and leaves, because everybody this weekend pulled out the brush and leaves. So that'll be addressed, that'll be addressed in the next few days. Wednesday it's supposed to rain, I'm taking plows off on Wednesday. So then we'll start from there, and we'll go step by step, we'll follow the procedure one by one. Another thing, we had a trencher, we put it up Options International, we received $2,700 for the top bid. The bid was closed, so they have the board accept that.
What is it for again?
The trencher,
Make a motion to approve the top bid of $2,700 for the trencher from the highway garage.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
and only one other thing, I'd like to have $10,000 transferred over from H97 to the highway funds for the salt shed.
Okay. And is everybody aware what that Has everybody talked to David in regards to that? Yeah, you talked to everybody, yeah. So, I know with the wet spring, he found out that the water's not draining everywhere, so he's gotta put in some drainage, some, what else?
Yeah.
Some more
Salt,
stone.
everything. Last week I
Yeah.
ordered another 100 tons because we were supposed to get another storm.
Right.
This us.
So, look for motion to, or I'll make the motion to move $10,000 from H97 into,
For the highway salt shed.
what's the line for the highway salt shed that you already have, or is it
It's
just?
in H97.
Okay, we just need to approve
I put
$10,000.
Right off the bat, but
Okay.
there's a separate line specifically for it.
Approve $10,000 for the salt shed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Anything else?
That's it.
So let's jump into Bob Lannon.
Dave, are you gonna be doing mulch this year?
No,
Residents
we
are
don't do
calling.
mulch.
No mulch, okay. Residents are calling as well.
No, there's no
Okay,
mulch.
gotcha.
Thank you. Bob Lannon?
The schedule for the water line at this point is the survey is being conducted. Parts of that are under design. We're targeting to advertise for bids pending town of Lewiston Water Department approval and Niagara County Health Department approval, amongst others, later this fall and sometime hopefully in September, which we anticipate at this point will be about an 18-month construction duration. So we're still a little bit away yet from there being water line in the ground.
Bob, if I could, just, so as far as how long we're gonna have to keep these roads up to par, or at least as best we can, until how many months do you think it is before the water line will be completed? And they'll be putting the new roads in?
Well,
And I would just mention it, because when you put the water line, doesn't mean that the new road goes in, right, Dave?
Correct,
So-
yeah.
It'll be 2 years down the road.
Yeah,
Right, so it's a significant amount of
Yeah,
time.
The water line at this point, in real broad strokes, might be completed 2 years from now,
I understand.
okay? However, just to be clear, okay, that includes new water lines, valves, hydrants, and appurtenances. It is not, it
Not the
includes
new road.
trench restoration, but not full road width reconstruction,
Right.
okay?
And also, I mean, how many locations will actually cross a road? Is there situations?
Oh,
where-
there'll be probably dozens, I would think,
Okay.
of road crossings. and
Okay.
such, yeah.
I asked Bob today in a discussion about whether or not, when this project is done, how much is opened at a time. And he says, a lot has to be determined, whether we're gonna do the entire project at one time, or we're gonna do it in bits and pieces. It depends on the weather.
Yeah. And Mr. Elias, if you want to call me later this week, I'll talk to Mr. Lane, and I'll find out exactly what Morgan Drive, the actual construction on Morgan Drive is, and if it's going to cross a road, or, I can show you that.
I can talk to you before you leave. I can tell you from experience, there's no way Morgan Drive's gonna last 2 years just patching potholes.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Somebody's gonna get
Yeah.
hurt. I mean, there's a lot of walkers in that neighborhood, there's a lot of
Yeah.
cul-de-sacs. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. There's a lot of roads, and we've been working in the county roads, some county roads that run through the town that are in real rough condition, so.
So what happens too, is every time they cross this road, we're gonna have to go in, let it settle and everything else too, so.
Right.
It's not like it's gonna be a one-shot
Oh,
deal,
right.
there we go. We're gonna come in, we're gonna have to mill it down, we're gonna have to do it right from that point on, the binder and the top and everything. Like we said, it's 2 years just for that part of it. It may take longer, because if I had more equipment on there, there's no use of me putting all this equipment on there, tearing up the road.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
and we can skim patch certain areas and do that. That's how we're gonna address certain other areas. We have a paver now, we'll come in certain areas, we hit it, maybe 20 yards or whatever we have to do to maintain it. Right now, our hardest part is keeping our good roads good. You know what I mean? It's just the weather like this year, you'll see some roads we just paved 3, 4, 5 years ago are starting to come up with potholes. It's becoming a problem for the whole county, really.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Bob. Sure. Mike, yeah, Mr. Elias.
Supervisor, Mr. Bax has my contact information.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
I'll make sure I pass it along.
Thank you.
Mike Townsend? Nothing? Bernie Rotella, anything?
Yeah, just a couple of things. We just want to let you know the Bridge New York grant went in for the Fletcher Road culvert. So I want to just thank our town engineer and Dave getting that application in. We're working on the Greenway application for the park. That should be ready for the end of June and the presentation. And tonight you have the DASD contract that's on your agenda.
Okay.
That's planned.
Thank you. Jeff Ritter.
I'd like to just read this prepared statement. Between Sunday, April 15th and Monday, April 16th, town of Lewiston experienced nearly 3 inches of precipitation in addition to some snow melt. As a result, yards and ditches, as well as the town's sewer collection system, were filled beyond capacity. This has resulted in multiple sewer backups in homes and in low-lying areas and homes with sewer laterals under their basement slabs. As town residents, I want you to be aware that the town of Lewiston Sewer Department has been proactive in its efforts to repair the aging infrastructure since the 1990s. More recently, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation has mandated that all municipalities develop a plan on collection system maintenance and repairs to limit the amount of sanitary sewer overflows by trying to limit inflow and infiltration. The town has been working diligently on this plan. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I know it was a tough weekend. Okay. Moving on, approval of the meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve, let me see here.
Let's do this in 2 parts.
I was not here on the 26th, so I'll have to abstain.
Okay.
Move to approve the minutes on March 26th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. One abstention.
One abstention. And then the work session on April 9th, I'll have to abstain. I was not here.
Move for approval as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And one abstention. The abstract, Councilman Moria.
Abstracts for 4/23/2018. I move to approve the regular abstract of claims numbered 969 to 1118 and recommend payment in the amount of $243,705.37 plus a post audit of $305,831.23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Old business, boards, commissions,
No action.
No action tonight on that. The pond request also, that's going to be sent back to the, to Tim Masters and the building inspector, correct?
That's the appropriate route for our code. It goes to the building department so that it can go off the agenda as well.
Okay. New business, clerk's correspondence. None? Okay. Finance.
I have 2 items that I'm asking for the board to approve tonight. The first one being a budget revision to fund unexpected unemployment expenses for 2018.
So, Jackie, if I'm correct on this, you want to do 2 movements.
2 movements because it's coming from SS2 and SS3.
All right, so it's going to come from SS2-812-200-000 of $5,500, and that will go into SS2-905-0-800-0000.
Correct.
And can we do it all together?
What was the amount?
5,500 from those 2. Move from the.
There's 2 of them.
There's
The-
nothing.
In the SS2, it's 5,500, and the SS3, it's 1,000.
Right.
So the total is 6,500.
Should I continue?
We go on. Yeah.
Okay. Move from SS3 8120-0200-0000 $1,000 to SS3 9050-0800-0000. And it'll be a wash.
Okay, we have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you. The second item I have is a request. We'd like to ask for the board for approval to restate the purchase of the cameras for this meeting room from the B fund over to the H97. It was $2,253.98.
Okay. So moved.
Who's second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Legal. Right?
Just a couple things. First is an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Lewiston and the city of Niagara Falls. It's basically an agreement that allows the town and the city to share resources in terms of operation of our highway departments. Each of the council members should have gotten a copy of that in advance, so we'll need a motion to approve the agreement and then a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement on behalf of the town of Lewiston.
Do you want two separate motions? Move to approve the intermunicipal agreement for sharing of equipment, services, and materials as presented, and have it dated April 23rd, 2018.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Motion to authorize supervisor to sign said agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to give Dave Train, I know he walked outside, a lot of credit because Dave Train worked on this agreement, and I think it's good for both communities. And I know the governor has been pushing communities for shared services. Even though we do a lot of shared services, this is another area where we can save some money and manpower. So I give Dave Train all the credit. And then the DASNY grant.
I'll defer to Bernie on this. I did review the grant agreement itself. It's fairly standard boilerplate language from the state. I would approve it as to form. Obviously, there's some things that the town has to follow up from their end. I've talked to Bernie about that. That is something that the town and Bernie are aware of. But it's pretty
Basically,
standard.
it's a $50,000 grant for the pickup truck and 5 fire hydrants. So you sign it, goes back to the state, takes about 45 days to get back. We can put in for reimbursement. I understand that we already bought the pickup truck, and then you're really free to go and get the 5 fire hydrants. So we'll take care of the administration and get the reimbursement.
Okay. So I need a motion for the supervisor to sign the DASNY agreement. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Engineering.
Yes, I have one item, which is essentially a continuation or an extension of the recent board action to authorize me to sign the purchase order between the town of Lewiston and New York Power Authority. This is in connection with what we call this NIPA fire hydrant. The first domino has fallen, and we've entered into a purchase order between NIPA and the town in the amount of $42,000. The next step that we have to do is authorize, or actually award the contract to the low bidder, who is Vasone Contracting, in the amount of $31,509. That will allow us now to actually begin work on this NIPA fire hydrant.
So you need a motion to,
Motion to award the contract, and then subject to attorney approval, allow the supervisor to sign the contract.
And the gentleman's name again? The
It's
first-
Vasone, Bisone. He was the lowest of 4 bids received.
make a motion to approve the low bidder for the NIPA fire hydrant to Visone in the amount of $42,000?
No,
Sorry.
$31,509.
$31,509.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign any appropriate document subject to legal approval.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thanks, that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
No.
So the $42,000 contract with NIPA help involves all the other expenses and fees associated.
Yeah.
Gotcha, thank you.
Also, for Upper Mountain Fire Company, the following persons are no longer members of the Upper Mountain Volunteer Fire Company. We request that the town remove their names from the Upper Mountain Volunteer Fire Company town roster. Tristan Dietz and Khalid Goldfuss. So they have a motion to remove them from the
So
roster.
moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Banks.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilman Guyton.
I have nothing, but I have to comment. I don't like this dais at all. And I don't know if it's too late to change it in some way. I can't see down the board the way it was before. The judge doesn't like it because he can't get close enough to the people with whom he's addressing. And if there's any way that we can make some modifications on this, even if we move this post and do something. I'm sorry, it wasn't on the agenda, but I'm sitting here and I can't see down the end of the table.
John likes to do that.
Yeah.
John likes it that way. John and I sometimes are back here this way, looking at each other.
Okay, so noted. Councilman Jacoby.
I have three things. I attended the Fire Prevention Bureau meeting in Sanborn, and we talked about firefighter recruitment and firefighter retention more in passing than a specific attention as anything formal. But along those lines, it's come to light, a couple of people approached me about ambulance response times. And, you know, the chiefs are more than happy to address that issue, but what we need is a specific incident, you know, the date, the time, where it occurred, so that we can look at it. Because in my history in the fire service, a lot of times people say, oh, it took 20 minutes to get an ambulance, 20 minutes for a fire engine, and we would go back and read the tapes, and it would be far less than that. And I'm not saying they're getting there in 3 minutes, but you have to remember they are volunteer companies. But the chiefs would be more than happy to address it, but they have to be made aware of the incident. So that was interesting to me. And along those lines, several of us attended the Lewiston #1 installation dinner. And Lewiston #1's got some innovative things they're doing as far as handling response times and getting more people in the fire hall to respond. So for the public's general knowledge, fire companies are aware of any shortcomings that might be there, and they're working diligently to correct it. And I don't know that it exists, I don't know that it's rampant, but even 1 or 2 incidents is probably too many. Then the last thing is the historic preservation. It's proving to be very interesting. Zach Hollister is going to bring in a collection of his own photos of all the historic places in the town of Lewiston. And I'm sure you'd be more than welcome at the meeting, the
second Tuesday of the month.
second Tuesday of the month. It's here, and we do it in the kitchen.
May 15th.
May 15th at 6 o'clock. So it might be interesting if someone wants to see the old photos. That's all I got.
In regards to the fire recruitment, obviously being a first responder, or recently retired first responder, it is an issue. But when I was on vacation, Horry County was running television ads to try and recruit volunteer firemen. And I was at the Eastern Hills Mall last night, and they have a display and a recruitment in the middle of the mall for Harris Hill. So it's everywhere. Unfortunately, and I know the chief is has been a member with Lewiston 1 for a long time. I think he can vouch for it. It is hard to get members. It really is. And I feel, you know, hopefully they can. I know what you're talking about with Niagara Falls, or Lewiston 1 has gone out of the district to allow volunteers to volunteer that don't live in the district, and it's actually worked out for them. So they're very proactive. So
I should go out on a limb here. Even though I'm the new person, I'm sure that the board is unanimous in the support of the fire companies.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we want to see them thrive, and we want to see them be able to serve the community. So, like I say, if anything happens, rather than go, you know, throw it out at the local restaurant or at the bar and complain about it, if you could get the word either to the fire companies themselves or just to a member of the board or the supervisor, and we'll look into it.
Thank you. Councilman Morial.
Yes, I got a homeowner from a resident. He lives in Little Vista Drive, and he's requested a light to be installed. In his email, he said John Giuliani said that was agreed upon regarding subdivision approval. Now they've built a lot on the corner, a light is needed. Thanks for your attention. So I called Donna and Carol and asked them if they could pull the minutes from that meeting. And here in the resolution, I like to read it. At a meeting of the town board of Lewiston held at Lewiston, New York, on the 10th day of November 2014, the following resolution was duly adopted. Be it resolved the Lewiston Board authorized National Grid to install 100-watt high-pressure sodium lamp and a traditional post-top luminaires on a 16-foot black direct embedded fiberglass pole and direct buried cable on Big Vista Lane at Little Vista Lane at an annual cost to the town of $276.72. So the board, I think, did its due diligence here, and if they're looking for more lighting, I think they should either go to their HOA or however they want to handle it. Can we send a letter that the light was installed and let them know that we did our obligation on this? And I actually went and looked at the pole tonight. It's a big pole.
Yeah, it's on the corner of
Yeah,
Big
it's on the
Vista and
corner.
Little Vista.
Yeah, so,
Right.
all right, that's all I have.
And there is a town policy on lights,
Mhm.
intersections and select curves.
And cul-de-sacs.
I don't like the word dangerous.
Yeah.
Select.
All curves are dangerous, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, privilege of the floor, Paulette Glasgow.
You want to put the mic over there, or you want me to just?
No, Bernie, we grab the mic and throw it on.
I mean, I could talk loud enough, I would imagine.
Well, it'd be good for us because you're facing us. I don't know about everybody in the back.
I'm in the back. Just that, I wasn't going to speak about this, but Bill mentioned the dais. And there's an old saying.
I can't hear you, Paulette.
Is it on? Oh.
Yeah, if you want to hold it in your hand, if it's easier.
Bill mentioned about the dais, and I wasn't going to speak about this, I'm going to speak about something else, but there's an old saying that the best form of government is the government that's closest to the people. And I've said from the time I sat on that board 20 years ago, that dais is too high. It should be brought down to floor level, and you should be pushed this way. Because you need to be closer to the people.
One of the dilemmas is it's shared by the judges, and
Well-
they have more standards for
Yeah, I know.
guys than we do.
But there's a way of doing it, Bill, that you can even build out this way, so that he could sit closer to this way.
I'm not happy with the way it is now, but
But I always said it should be lower. You shouldn't sit higher than the people. With that said, at the March meeting, the town board discussed the replacing of the damaged senior center sign. During that discussion, the town board mentioned how much it would cost to replace the sign and how much they could possibly pay for the sign. And that's in actually the minutes that you approved tonight. I have the following requirements. During that meeting, the town board discussed going out to bids. Since the figure discussed falls within the required 3 written quotes of the town's procurement policy, when does the town anticipate going out to bid?
you put this in the hands of Tim Masters, correct?
No, it's going to go out to bid, probably this week or next week.
Have you voted to go out to bid yet?
Um,
You should have it.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
You need to do that.
I'm
No,
not sure
I don't
if
believe we
to
have to-
something
yeah.
that-
I
Because
think
it's
you
not
do.
going out on sealed bids, it's just the department, it's 3 written. I mean, if you want to vote, just put it out to bid.
Well, your
Yeah.
procurement policy says if it's more than a certain amount, if it's more than $2,500, 25 to 5,000, you need to advertise for bids, and you need to go out to bids for 3 written.
Right, and we are going out for bids. What I gave you was like for an insurance estimate.
Yeah, I know. So in other words, you're just going to go out to bids, you're not going to advertise for bids,
Well,
for your procurement policy.
we may advertise it, I don't believe we have to vote on it.
Okay, all right. Okay, then the next question that I have, since the board has publicly announced how much it would pay to replace the sign, which is in your minutes, would any bids the town receives per that bid solicitation be considered tainted? Because the figure is already out there.
I'm not sure, I can't answer that.
We would accept the lowest bid.
Yeah, but you've already said it's going to cost you you only have 57.80. So if someone comes in with 56.01, then they're the lowest bid. You've already advertised how much money you're going to spend for the sign. You're not supposed to do that.
That's for insurance purposes. We're going to send it out for 3 bids, and when they come in, when the bid comes in.
none of the bids you hope are gonna be closer to that, I would think.
I think what the board's plan was, I think that represents just replacing the current
The
sign.
current sign,
Yes.
yeah,
What you're sending out to bid is a little different, is my understanding.
right. Yeah, right. Yep. And-
But I'm just wondering if it would be, because years ago, we had the problem this with Fred Mahar. He got his hand slapped by the state controller, because prior to going out for bid, he said how much money he was gonna spend, and the controller came in and said, not supposed to do that.
Well, I don't believe we said how much we're going to spend. I said how much it was to replace it and for insurance value.
I just was wondering if the bids would be tainted.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
If I'm correct, Mrs. Calasano would like the same, basically same sign that she has right now.
Yep.
Nothing more, nothing less, unless there's been a further discussion that I wasn't part of.
Yeah, I talked, yeah.
And I'll add to that. I can't speak for Jeanette, but I can speak for the seniors. They like the dark color, but they like this sign. They don't like the fancy schmancy stuff.
Okay.
I'm a senior and I like it.
No,
Well,
you have to come down there, John, to see exactly what they like and what they
I'm
don't.
in favor of automation, where they can change the sign from the desk, because
Well, it won't be that.
That won't be that.
just don't do what
But
I
just so
like.
that you know, they
Right.
like the dark, but they have.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, nobody else is speaking. Upcoming board commission meetings, zoning board of appeals is May 10th at 7 p.m. Work session, May 14th at 6 p.m. Historic preservation, May 15th at 6 p.m. in the lunchroom. Environmental commission at May 15th at 7 p.m. Parks and recreation, May 16th at 7 p.m. Planning board, May 17th at 6:30 p.m. And the regular town board meeting on May 30th. No, that's not right. May 31st? Oh, okay, that's right, because of the holiday, yeah. May 31st at 6 p.m.
Do you not have a joint village town meeting coming up?
Oh, yes, on May 7th, we have a meeting at the Village Hall. I'm glad you mentioned that. On May 7th at, I believe we're going to do it at 5 p.m. So they're just before their meeting. It'll
It'll be open to the public.
Open to the public, yeah.
In passing, I saw Amy Slaughter, and I'm not sure if she said it to you or to whom, but if we can submit some of the topics that we would like to have discussed ahead of time, and they will send us a list. I would very much like to see the bicentennial mentioned on that joint, and I will not be there.
Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody, for coming.